world unite. It's time to war, to fight the fight against the puppet masters pulling strings. We'll strip away the power, hear our piercing scream. Yeah, we won't be silenced anymore. We break free from the chains that they adore. Stand tall, Unrig in the game we rise. We'll bring reality from their lies. Unrig the game, unleash the fury.
This is a friendship that'll never ever end.
Greetings and welcome to Unrig the Game. How's everybody doing this evening? Forgot to do a few things, didn't I? Let's get these fireflies flying. All right, and let's thank all of those YouTube reoccurring memberships down there at the bottom. Thank you guys so much. Really means a lot that you're supporting the channel. I'll tell you what, I've been working, I work contract stuff, and contracts have been lean as of the last few months. And that YouTube payment was very, very helpful this month. So it was very nice. Thank you guys so much for that. And for everybody who super chats and helps support the channel, it really means a lot. Thank you, Wolfram, for dropping these links. And he wipes his paws, he lopes in, and he howls. And there's Shelly in the house talking trash and truths. We are on Rumble, X, and YouTube. This is the YouTube kickoff show right now. Let me change the banner to be appropriate. There it is. And tonight we'll be reading chapters 2 and 3 of Woke Inc. by Vivek Ramaswamy. So we are well on our way in that book, and it's going very, very well. Very, very well. We enjoyed it. But tonight in the kickoff show, what we're going to discuss is the presidential debate coming up this week. A very, very toned down, a very weird debate. Of course, it's on the enemy network known as CNN with enemy moderator Jake Tapper. All right. So they're going to have mute buttons. We're going to talk more about all that here coming up. And then afterwards, we're going to take a look at, again, why we're learning for like the post read. We're going to take a quick look at some critical information about, one, what we're reading, and two, why we're reading it, in terms of just a reminder of what we're fighting against. So, but first, let's get the super chat going. Talking Trash and Truths, thank you for the $10 super chat. Get this baby rolling right. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate it. And we are off and running. And thanks to everybody, all the new people over on X. We've had a really good couple weeks on X of adding new followers. We're up to 391. Very awesome, awesome, awesome. Let me put a heart on that. All right. Yeah, cool. Thank you so much for everybody on X that's starting to tune in. I really appreciate it. Got lots of great content here, lots of great topics we cover. We are the based place, right? We only deal in truth and real truth and nothing but the real truth. No grifting going on here. Straight up for the cause. Straight up for the cause. And thanks to everybody that's here. Funny thing is, you beat me to it. I was just thinking about doing one. Well, there's always room for two. All right. Thank you so much, Wolfram, for all you do. Thank you for all you do. Yep. Tell you what, in that 21st of every month, you get your YouTube payout, and it really, you see how you see the support, and it really does mean it. It really does mean a lot. It really does mean a lot, especially when times is tight. As it stands right now, I have a contract in the works, but it's going to take about another couple months to actually for that one to start paying out. So I actually have to work. The way contracts work, a lot of them work is you got to work 30 days and wait. Sometimes you got to wait 30 days to get paid. It depends on what it is. I know with this one coming up, I have to work at least 30, and it's a part-time contract. So I'll still be working to get more contracts under my belt. Well, who knows? If the right thing happens, the right time, the channel blows up, maybe I can do this full time. I can actually put full-time energy into it. And who knows what would happen then. But we have a long ways to go to get there. And right now we're focused on 2024 and the problems that are in front of us, as well as the long-term solutions we call solution culture, right? Where we are always thinking about how to solve for the enablement of corruption and how we can stop their long-term cycle that continues to keep the worst amongst us living with the most amongst us. There you go. Let's see, I'm just looking at the chat here. Looks like Wolfram and Shelley are saying hello. Hi, Elephant. How you doing? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Well, like I said, tonight we're going to kick off, and I'm going to be talking about this week a lot, leading up to Thursday night, a special edition, winning 2024, the presidential debate rematch between Biden and Trump. Let me make sure I got my share this out. Let me make sure I got my settings right for my audio so it's not too loud. Okay. We should be good. We should be good. Hopefully no background noise. You guys let me know if you hear any. And I'll try to minimize that as best I can. All right. So a couple React videos, one before, one after. I've watched a little bit of this one. Hey, what's up, Valhalla? How you doing, buddy? Hey, welcome. How you doing, pal? Hope you're doing well. So you working hard over there? All right, I'm glad you stopped in while you smoke. You're good place. Mimsy, what's up? So we're going to be talking about, there you go. What's up to Valhalla? We're going to be talking about the debate all week long leading up to it. And of course, some of the things that I have encircled and encompassed it. We also have this new trend. It's your anniversary for your channel, or your wedding anniversary, or your goat anniversary. It could be any kind of anniversary. What you got? And also, I'm going to talk about something I predicted. And I'll only bring this up to validate the channel, of course. It's something I predicted. They're calling them, oh, marriage, 7 years. Congratulations, bud. Awesome, dude. I love seeing long, happy marriages happen. I'm always very, very happy for the people who have those. Congratulations, man. You're doing something right. Keep it up. You got a great thing going on, and we're all very happy for you. So congratulations. 7 years is a big deal. You made it 7 years. You've beat the odds there, right? You beat the odds. What they say, the average marriage lasts 5 to 7 years or something like that. So you have beat the odds, and I believe that you will be beating those odds from now till the very end. Yeah, life is good. Y'all. All right, dude. That's awesome, man. It's always good to see you, buddy. I know we have a lot of conflicting schedules, but you're one of my favorites that are out there. I always enjoy hanging out with you, and we had a great interview together, epic interview, where you felt safe enough to disclose a lot of really personal stories, and I really do appreciate that. We got to the truth of the matter on all these things. Right? Oh man. Cool, man. I'm so happy that you're here. Well, like I was saying with the they're calling them cheap fakes now. Right? They're calling them cheap fakes. You know that I've been going on and on about our side, new media, not becoming what we fight. And with all these people jumping on these little clips of Biden and this sucks because it's going to sound like I'm defending Biden. I'm just defending the truth. When we take these clips out of context just to joke the man's age and decrepit form, right? We're not doing any good for ourselves, and we're building sympathy for him, but we're also making ourselves look like frauds, especially when top people come out, top voices in the new media come out and support it. And thank God Viva Fry came out. I came out and said something about it. Viva Fry said something about it. That was it. You know, all the way down the line, you had Tim Pool, you had Alex Jones, you had Benny Johnson, you had Kevin Sorbo, who's not really a leading voice, but just a well-known celebrity. And you had many others just jumping onto this Poopgate thing, which didn't happen. And when you play the whole clip out, you'd realize that it was just a piece of shit, right? That to me is COINTELPRO at work, but it's working not necessarily consciously through the people who jumped on it, right? But it's still working, right? Like I don't think they consciously decided they were going to try to mislead people, but I do think that they got caught up in the clicks and views and first to market mentality, which is what really helps corrupt our mainstream media, right? And we saw a lot of like that knee-jerk reaction happen and cause a lot of these older conspiracy grifts that are still out there. You know, these crisis actors staged event, you know, things like S Hook and so on, where the conspiracy grifters really latched onto it because people were taking things out of context and not really doing the analytical work that the real defenders of truth do. Right? Hey Lex, what's up? I see you there. Where are you at? Where's your intro? I see you there. Hey Lex, how you doing, buddy? I'm just gonna put up let's put up this one. Hey, there he is. All right, cool. Kim and so does great narration on documentaries now. Yeah, you know, but that's the thing, because you know you start to depend on other media outlets to tell you the truth, right? You try to, as average people, we relax a little bit and we think, okay, well, these guys have come through. They said a lot of truthful things, and then all of a sudden you have this what they're called. What again? Like I said, they're going to take this and run with it, and now they're calling them cheap fakes. So now to anybody interested in maybe leaving the establishment narrative, they look out and they say, well, these people are just making up stuff, right? And it makes everybody look bad. And it does us no good. It also does us no good to keep harping on his age and his decrepity, because all we're doing is begging them to replace him. We do not want him replaced. He's already the most unpopular, dysfunctional president in history. We do not want them to come and put a better candidate in. And I don't understand why our side doesn't think strategically and doesn't think about what it means to actually be defenders of truth, right? Like that's a calling, and it's a responsibility. And doing these quote unquote cheap fakes, right? And then people come out and joke the cheap fake thing, like they don't, like we're not actually doing that. Like it's actually happening. They put a name on it because now they're going to smear us with it. Now the other thing I want to do with this topic is I want to take you into the world of the First Veil, and I want to show you what they're saying about us on their programming and what the average person is seeing. Our archetype becoming, right? Because we get roped in with everybody, whether you're based or not, whether you got it or not, you get roped in with the worst, right? So that's why I'm saying that they can totally put these things out there, knowing these conspiracy grifters will latch onto it. And I'm not saying that Poole or any of these other guys are grifters, but I'm saying that they bought it, they played into it, right? And so it's just a little bit of a psychological trick to get them to jump at something, right? And of course, I've shown you the grifters on X, I've shown you the grifters on YouTube. There's tons of them, and they got huge followings, much bigger than mine, much bigger than a lot of folks that are trying to combat their bullshit. And they can just take it and run with it. And before you know it, the lie is halfway around the world, and we don't want to become them. That's what I'm saying. I'm not here to defend a creepy old president that never should have been there in the first place at all. But what I'm saying is that they're starting to figure out how to manipulate us, and we have to stop. And I'd love to get on some kind of panel or some kind of collaboration with a bigger channel that understands this. Like if I could actually, if Eva would ever think it, doable to have me on or to come on my channel, even just to have a discussion about it, that would be a great place to start. And I'm sure there are other people out there that feel the same way. I just got to find them. We just have to find each other and come together and put a new media, make them live up to standards, right? Make them Like, call them out. Like, you don't need. We can still be on the same team and still say, hey, look, we got to do better. And that's what I believe. You know, I'm not by any means dismissing any of these people, as I'm going to show you right now, because I got Tim Pool right here. But I'm not dismissing them. But I'm saying we have to be careful about what we say. We have to do better than the people we fight. Otherwise, the future is going to look just like the present, and we don't want that, right? They'll take it the other way. We'll go too far on our side. If we don't have higher standards, we'll go too far, and that sucks. Yeah, I would love it if you could join a larger channel to talk about it winning. It would. We'll be on the lookout. It would really help. I mean, I'm kind of like, don't know what to do. Like, if I reach out to Viva, what's his incentive to work with me, right? Other than the fact that I've been a loyal supporter for a long time, that doesn't mean anything in his, like, when it comes to what he's going to do with his content. He's very busy. He's got a lot of stuff going on. He's in a workflow. So, you know, I get it. I get it. If you know, the bigger channels don't want to deal with somebody like me when I haven't been able to raise my channel up to their levels, or at least close to it yet. And maybe the day will come. Maybe the day will come. Maybe, you know, I go back and forth and try to figure out what it is. I'm putting out the same content as a lot of other people, but it doesn't get as far a reach. Is it the avatar? Is it, you know, you've heard me kind of go through the troubleshooting on all this, but I just want to try to this is the frustrating part about being me. It's like I have the vision, I see it, and I just want to get there and get in the conversation with people that are, you know, serious about what they're doing, and have the ideas debated, have people punch holes in them. You know, that's part of it. I'm all up for that. So however that happens, whenever it happens, man, I'm looking forward to it. I hope it does. I hope I can find a way to at least have an impact in one way or another with some of these skills I have, because this is really what I do. You know, I try to think about how to make another channel or do something different, and I'm like, well, yeah, I like this, but I'm not super into it. I don't have that. I don't do that. This is pretty much what I do. Real quick though. Lex, thank you for the $10 super chat. Hey, winning. Hang in there. Things have to get better, right? I have some work to do, but I will be listening to love to the chat. Thank you so much, Lex. I appreciate it. You're awesome. You are awesome. Thank you so much for being a great supporter of the channel and coming and hanging out with us and putting in your, giving us your input on things, man. It really means a lot. We all appreciate you and love you, Lex. Thank you so much. And Ellie's gonna be cleaning the kitchen. I'm happy to be on as you're in the background and while you clean up the kitchen. Thank you so much for doing that. And we're gonna have a good night tonight. So let's get into this. You know, the cheap fake thing. I'll put a better presentation about it together. And what we'll do is, I think for Unveiling Reality, we'll just talk about that this week on Wednesday. And Thursday, we'll have Winning 2024 for the presidential debates. And I hope each and every one of you will be here. I'm going to offer something that a lot of other channels aren't going to, well, some channels will, but a lot of the bigger channels won't offer you. And that is not a lot of clutter, right? Not a lot of clutter. I'm not going to bring 7 people up here to all interrupt and talk over each other. I want it to be clean. And I want to be able to comment on it as things come up and point things out that I see, that I notice. So I'm going to offer you guys a one-man show for the debates and for this debate, and I hope you guys will join us. All right. So let's get into this. CNN cuts off interview with Trump press secretary for trashing debate moderator. So the censorship has already started. Let's get into it.
In just a few days, Donald Trump and Joe Biden will be debating in a CNN-hosted debate. And already many people are saying CNN is afraid. One of my favorite headlines coming out of the AP is that, can Joe Biden perform? And
you know, right here, okay, before we even get into what they're going to say or what they did, the fact that CNN is still in the driver's seat when it comes to debates and in 2024 is beyond me. I do not understand why we cannot have any control over who's broadcasting these debates. We can't make a more open source, if you will. Let's just do it from I guess they would fight over whose YouTube channel they would do it from, but we got to figure out a way to have a more level playing field. CNN is obviously completely, utterly establishment propaganda. We all know this. And they put their own person in there. They have their own rules, and they get to host it when their channel is their network is failing because they're nothing but disinformation. So, well, for the most part, yes. At least when it comes to politics, and they're agenda driven. Let me just say they're agenda driven, right? So this part before, I don't think people make a big enough deal out of the fact that they shouldn't be hosting these debates. They've had a track record of having incredibly poor debates and very biased debates, and coming out of there with methodologies and tactics in order to benefit the establishment. And I mean, and this goes all the way back to the Ron Paul days, right? Where they wouldn't give him enough talk. They wouldn't go to him enough, right? They wouldn't go to him enough. They let him gang up on him, right? They cut him off. And Ron Paul is so damn honest and so nice. He didn't. That's the one thing I saw from. He'd call him out, right? But he wouldn't fight him like a bully, right? He wouldn't fight him like a monster, like his enemy, where Trump does. And that was one of the first things that impressed me about Trump as a presidential candidate, was that he went right after a root cause issue. I mean, he won me over in his first debate because of that. And the fact that I saw, Rand not living up to it. I was like, well, we can't just repeat what we did for the last 8 years, right? And trying to get Ron Paul elected. We need something more. And he showed it to us. So anyways, why is CNN still hosting these things? I don't know. They're trash. And then it's like, well, they're trashing, they're trashing debate monitors. But they're garbage. They're a garbage network. The propaganda. Let's continue.
Can Donald Trump be boring? And I'm like, wow, that's a headline. They expect Joe Biden to fail, and they expect Donald Trump to entertain. I think that is a reasonable assessment. But now we've got questions about whether or not Joe Biden will be hipped up on goofballs, as we all suspect. And there is some speculation that he's on uppers. And I think that's a fair assessment. I mean, when even the AP is saying, can this guy really perform? Well, they got to be giving him something, right? Well, here we go, my friends. The story.
The thing is that people are prescribed uppers every day in all walks of life, from children to senior citizens. So yeah, no surprise there. Yes, he will be on something. It will take its toll on him, though. Just remember that. It's kind of like if you watch the Boys, it's like turned into a really woke series, which is going to be part of the analysis I'm going to do on Wednesday, by the way. I'm going to pull up they do a really good job of showing you how they're trying to present outside the established narrative people to the world. And we'll get in deep into that. And by the way, that means we're going to have to be on Rumble. So we're going to do a good portion of the show on YouTube, and then we'll have to go to Rumble exclusively on Wednesday night. But anyways, but yeah, so the fact that he's going to be on something doesn't surprise me whatsoever. Like I said, Thursday night for the debate, Wednesday night for Unveiling Reality, in case I didn't say it right. But yeah, it doesn't surprise me. He's been on something every time. He's been on something every time. So yeah, not a surprise. And I think that's funny, like why but is he prescribed the medication, and is it a good prescription, or is it just, yeah, this will help him, right? But it does stuff to your head. It does stuff to your head. But anyways, Trump saying get him drug tested, right, for the debate is hilarious. It's hilarious. Yes, that's right. Well, CNN has been failing for years. Democrats keep CNN afloat because they can't allow it to go under. Well, yeah, it is establishment propaganda outlet, right? It's completely controlled and pushing out narratives and playing a sword in the shield for the establishment. That's their go-to. That's why I'm saying, why does it keep getting the grace of being the home of the debates, at least for one of them? And then Fox ain't much better. And then when they do Fox, they put on the worst moderators too. Like, I mean, we need more neutral ground. We need to see what it would look like if somebody outside the establishment handled it for once. Why can't we do that at least one time? We can do all three. We can do left. We can do neocon right, and we can do freaking based anti-establishment. Let's do it that way. Let's do it. Why does Trump agree to this if he can't? I guess because he just wants to get out there and go toe to toe with them in a very rigged game, a very rigged debate. But we're going to be watching that debate to be calling it out. So this is the place where I'm going to be calling out all of it, all the tactics they're going to use, and calling out the BS and how they try to manipulate the viewers. And remember, the debates are mainly for the first veil people. I mean, it's going to be to manipulate them. So I'll be calling that out as well. Let's continue.
This morning happened this morning. CNN cuts off interview with Trump press secretary for trashing debate moderator. I take issue with that headline. I don't believe that it was trashing the debate moderator. It was pointing out that Jake Tapper, who's going to be the presumption is he's moderating, has compared Trump to Hitler on many occasions. Now, how do you expect of a fair debate if that's the case? Now, look, if someone asked me to moderate a Trump-Biden debate, I think it's fair for me to be like, why? I think Joe Biden's brain don't work, and I've insulted him. You got to get somebody who's like not in the spotlight, who's just kind of like, yeah, let's try and be fair about this. I think it's reasonable to say if I'm biased and I don't like Joe Biden, I don't moderate a debate. But here we go. Wait to see this video. This is actually hilarious. CNN cuts off interview with Trump press secretary for trashing debate moderator. This is Cassie Hunt abruptly ending a live interview with Trump's press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, on Monday. After the spokesperson questioned a moderator in the upcoming debate, Hunt had asked Leavitt what to expect from Joe Biden ahead of the first live televised presidential debate of 2024, scheduled June 27th. This one's going to be fun. We're doing a watch party, commentary, and laugh riot here at Timcast IRL.
See, that's why I'm offering you the opposite. Right there. That's why I'm offering you the opposite. Because it gets really frustrating when you want to pay attention and when you want to like have good input, when you have a whole panel full of goofballs making a bunch of noise over it. Crowder does it too. Other channels do it too. I just like, when you're watching something like this, I'm really into it. I'm like watching a boxing match or MMA match or a football game. I'm watching a something that's very serious in a lot of ways. And I know people like to make light of it, but I see it as influence, right? So influence and persuasion going on. And I think about the people who aren't watching, some kind of like, let's all joke and shit on a panel, right? Who may not even understand the gravity of what's going on and how important this election is. It's all the same. It's not all the same. We're running out of time. And nobody, some of these people don't have a sense of urgency or just have that belief that things are just going to work out no matter what happens. And maybe that's, I hope that's true. I really do. I'd love to just think that way. I stopped thinking that way a long time ago when I had responsibilities to other people, lifetime commitments to other people who rely on me to provide, protect, and help them grow into an adult, So my attitude about that changed. But I mean, I get it. So that's why I'm offering you the opposite. You can take what you like. You can do a little bit of both. But if you want the in-depth analysis without a bunch of ass grabbing, I'm right here.
In reply, Leavitt said, well, first of all, it takes someone 5 minutes to Google Jake Tapper, Donald Trump, to see that Jake Tapper has consistently, and Hunt interrupts, says, I'm going to stop this interview if you continue to attack my colleagues. Attack. That's pathetic. That's really sad. CNN is so desperate. When Leavitt responded, I am stating facts your colleagues have stated in the past, Hunt cut her off and ended the interview. Hunt later posted on X about the exchange saying, you come on my show, you respect my colleagues, period. I love it. Well, I have the video for you, and we got the responses. Jack Posobiec tweeted this out. This is the clip from the show. Breaking, CNN host @Cassie cuts off Trump spokeswoman Carolyn Leavitt the second she brings up Jake Tapper spending years comparing Trump to Hitler. This is a preview of how CNN will act during the debate. Oh boy, 44 seconds for your enjoyment.
So it takes someone 5 minutes to Google Jake Tapper, Donald Trump, to see that Jake Tapper has
Ma'am, we're going to
consistently
stop this
frequently
interview if you're going to
likened
keep
President
attacking my
Trump to
colleagues.
Adolf Hitler.
Ma'am, I'm going to stop
no,
this interview if you
I'm
continue to attack my colleagues. I would like to talk about Joe Biden and Donald Trump, who you work for.
Yes.
If you are here to speak on his behalf,
and I
am
will
willing
do
to
that.
have this conversation.
I am stating facts that your colleagues have stated in the past.
Okay,
Now,
I'm
as for
sorry.
this
They can't handle the truth. They can't handle the truth. Not at all. Look at that face. They had this all planned out, by the way, to cut off her tongue to lengthen their own. Right? This is a manipulative tactic used by narcissistic people to not allow people to talk. They cut off their tongue to lengthen their own.
Guys, we're going to come back out to the panel. Caroline, thank you very much for your time. You are welcome to come back at any point. She is welcome to come back and speak about.
Like, are you in charge? You're just an actor paid to read the freaking news and recite propaganda. I mean, you're in charge.
Donald Trump, and Donald Trump will have equal time to Joe Biden when they both join us now at later this week in Atlanta for this debate.
Wow. Do you see how she got all flustered and was like, join us now for later and this week? It's kind of wild. Carolyn Levitt didn't do anything. She's like, Jake Tapper called Trump Hitler. And then she's like, if you dare attack my colleagues, I will end this. And she's like, I'm just saying that's it. Now, anyway, Carolyn tried to move on. But here's the real issue. You wonder why something like this happens? CNN is terrified. Their ratings are in the gutter. Actually, let's do this.
The ratings are in the gutter, and they're so terrified they get to host the debate. You know,
I haven't done this in a while, but this, we could do this. Ad week. What do we got here from Ad week? Friday, June 14th ratings. And let's see if we can get the. No, I think Ad week's going to try and block me from it. All right. Well, I can see it right here. Oh my God.
Yeah, there's no bigger propagator of lies than Rachel Maddow. Mad cow. You know, I mean, honestly, and yet it still goes unpunished.
Holy crap. Take a look at this. Key demographic viewership for their primetime audience. This is absolutely insane. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to point this one out. Jake Tapper, 74,000. 74,000.
Wow.
Holy crap. I didn't realize it was that bad. Look at this. 9 p.m. CNN, 56,000 people. Yo,
that's nothing for them.
Wow. Tim Cass.
They get to host a debate.
IRL, it's like 3.2 million.
What's up, buddy?
Across all of our metrics. That's absolutely insane. I don't know about. Wow, man. It's a different format, to be fair, right? So because we're VOD, video on demand versus live, we're gonna get better play. But we do wow, that's absolutely nuts.
Tim, you know what he's saying right here? He's saying his channel does better than CNN. Right? So I mean, if it's down to who does better, maybe Timcast should host the debate.
We are beating their primetime numbers. So when let me do some quick math. When we're live, I think at night live, we do about 300K, predominantly key demographic viewers on Timcast IRL, but it's split up over 2 hours. Now, most of it is the first hour and a half because the last half hour is the super chats. So for about an hour and a half,
yeah, right,
we're getting around 300K. And
super chat really sucks.
I remember when it was like, I'd pull up CNN's ratings and it would be 500, 600, or millions. Now, to be fair, you take a look, total live viewership, and we can see that it's comparable. It's comparable, right? It's better than us. I think in the long term, because we're on-demand podcast, we're going to do way better. So the source gets 417,000 viewers in all age groups, which means, that's people over the age of 55 and older. And our average audience, I think, is like 65. Key demo matters. No, hold on. That's for money. That's for making money, which indicates this is the end of cable news, including Fox and Anderson.
That's cool.
Because these is
there more to this?
Work. Oof. When asked what to expect of Biden, this is what she mentioned. Is that all they really have to offer? One guy said one thing. Well, okay, we'll take it. I mean, obviously, this is true. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I love this headline. Can Biden perform and can Trump be boring? Key questions ahead of high stakes presidential
Right.
debate. This operates under the assumption that Biden can't perform and that Trump can't be
Nice.
boring. I love it. Trump can't be boring. He just can't be. The dude is like, I don't know how to explain Donald Trump, but you get it. You know, X factor, they call it. Whatever that is, Trump walks into the room and everyone is trying to run up to him and talk to him. Yo, it's the weirdest thing. It's the weirdest thing to be. You know, I mentioned this. I went to Mar-a-Lago, you know, a month ago or so. Was it a little bit more than a month ago now, I guess? And Trump's there. And I'm like, let Trump do his thing. I'm not one of those guys who's going to run up to somebody and be like, you know, try and shake everybody's hand and beg. But the amount of people that want to meet this man, he walks in the room and like a magnet, everybody is just being sucked
People's
over.
got it. So people
and he knows it. That's who
he
he is. And they all want to talk to him. Here's the weirdest thing. What can Trump do for you? This is an honest question I have about me. I don't get it. But I guess people really just are drawn to this man.
Yes,
he cannot be boring. I mean, he could try to be boring, but I don't know how he does it. Here we go. This is what the AP has to say. Rarely, if ever, has one candidate in a presidential debate had so much material to use against the other. Oh my. Republican Donald Trump has been convicted of 34 felony counts with serious charges and 3 other indictments still
not serious charges. Not serious charges.
pending, as President Trump nominated 3 of the justices who voted to overturn Roe v. Wade.
Like that's a bad thing.
Creating a backlash even in conservative-led states. And his sweeping second-term plans include promises of retribution against political enemies in both parties.
Like it's exactly happening to him right now. So basically what they're saying is, you know, here's the material. If you look at it the other way around, he's been wrongfully convicted of 34 trumped up charges, literally. All right. He nominated 3 justices who then went about doing their jobs to overturn the unconstitutional Roe v. Wade. Like the thing was unconstitutional to begin with. And guess what? Roe took it all back. Like people never talk about that. Took it all back. Right. But they keep acting like this is the fucking, like one of the 10 commandments right here. Right. So, yeah, again, you can hear the bias in AP. Even if you go out there and you just read AP every day and you don't have your filter on, your subversion filter on, and you think that it's just flat news, you're getting taken. So anybody who doesn't know how to do media analysis, is just reading AP every day, is probably being sucked in, or at least missing some of the key manipulation, subversion points in their media. Right? The AP is one way that they get the narrative out to all the places at one time. So I don't know if people realize that or not, but yeah, it's a great little launching point for narratives for the mainstream media. And his sweeping second-term plans includes promises of retribution against political enemies in both parties. No, retribution means that they've done something to him, right? I guess that's what I guess that maybe that's true, or maybe just justice, like, you know, making them live up to their own standards, making them, you know, basically, yeah, that's basically it. You know, making them live up to the standards they put him under. Right? Let's see if you can hold up to the same fire that you're putting underneath his feet.
Sounds exciting. Yet the big question for President Joe Biden, fairly or not, is whether he has the physical and mental capacity at 81 years old to press the case against Trump.
All right, right there. Hey, what's up, Opus? How you doing, man? Right there. Okay, there's their narrative. And this is what I'm talking about with the whole always going after his age and senility and, you know, his incompetence and whatever. Like they seem to be missing the boat on that. They could, I don't believe they're going to replace him, but our side sure is trying to encourage him to do it. And I think it's a poor strategy. Instead of just rerunning the clips of him sniffing kids, we're making up things and we're taking things out of context in order to paint him as a senile, incompetent president, which he already is without any of our help. Right? Like this is somehow going to change people's minds in the first veil, the establishment, but the people who are bought into the establishment, like that's somehow going to change their minds. They're not. They'll vote for a freaking piece of wood against Trump because they've done the, they don't care as long as it's not Trump. So why don't we understand that on our side? Why don't we get that? So here they are already framing this. So you see how this has been built out, right? 1, we started with performance enhancing drugs, right? 2, that the big question is, can he physically and mentally hold up during this debate and press the case against Trump? and he will. He will do exactly that. He's been doing it for 50 plus years. Not Trump, but just working for the establishment and putting out tremendous lies, tremendous fabrications. He makes up shit all the time, and he just rolls right through it, and he never has to pay for it. He could literally say that, you know, he's the Easter Bunny, and they would be like, "Oh my God, we didn't know. How about that? That's so great. The president's the Easter Bunny too. That's awesome." And then they'll move right along, right? So yes, now all Biden has to do is this, and this is the same thing that happened last time. If everybody remembers this, right? They're like, "Oh, he can't handle Trump in a debate. He can't handle Trump in a debate." He came out there all jacked up, and he did it. I mean, he just, yeah, they were interrupting Trump a lot. Yeah, they were helping him because they were on establishment outlets. They were helping him look better, right? They were interrupting Trump. They were talking over him. They were doing everything, right? And then let Joe go on and on and on. And then if he started getting weird, they jump in and do something, right? They definitely had his back during that, and they're going to do it again. So now, to everybody out there, all Joe has to do is go out there and just be fairly competent for an hour against Trump, and they'll be like, "See, everything's fine," which actually is going to benefit us. It's strange to say because of the framing of this, right? It's going to benefit our side that they do not replace him. You know, that they do not have a more competent candidate that may pull votes away that we've gained from like the Libertarian Party or from others that are been on the fence, independents and so on. You know, as well as we've done with some of the other votes that are out there, voting blacks that are out there, the black vote, and so on. I hate to use color, but yes, the black vote. And what if they threw up somebody that was appealing to that side? And all of a sudden, boom, a lot of support goes. And what they're trying to do is make it so it's close, because when it's close, they can do the shenanigans. Shenanigans are easy to do when it's close. That's what we don't think. That our side is just lack strategy. And when people have 1 million plus viewers and get a 250,000 views on a video that's 10 hours old, you know, they don't press these talking points that I'm pressing out there right now, like why this is important. We'll see what Tim has to say additionally about this. I didn't make it this far in the video, so we'll see what else is next. But yeah, I just want to point that out to you guys.
Perhaps nothing matters more than the level of energy and strength the Democratic incumbent projects on stage. Both men have glaring flaws that present their opponent with tremendous opportunity and risk. They will face a huge national audience that will include many people tuning into their 2020 rematch for the first time and who won't see another debate until September, magnifying each success or mistake. I gotta say, this Thursday, 8 p.m. is going to be wild. It's going to be absolutely
put that
wild.
In the good news of the week.
We're going to have to make the popcorn. And I believe we'll be joined by Alex Stein, Primetime Live on Timcast IRL.
Oh, God. See, there you go. See, Alex Stein's going to be on Timcast for the debate. That's one reason not to go listen to it on their channel. That's going to be like between him and Ian and other people that he has on there regularly. It's going to be it's not going to be worth watching. Tim will try to get in some good points, and everybody else will just step on them.
If slated so far, and the rest of the Timcast crew to watch and comment on the debate between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Certainly will be fun.
But he'll make
Biden
a lot of
and
money
Trump
on
will
it.
face off
He'll
9
make a lot of
p.m. for
money.
90 minutes inside a CNN studio in Atlanta. Oh boy. Can Biden
inside a studio? I don't think they're going to have a studio audience, so I can't go watch it live.
perform? I'm going to go ahead and say no, but this is like the 8th time I've shouted out this meme. Somebody tweeted so CNN tweeted out, we are going to see, they said, debate Thursday, 27th. Someone responded with, we are about to see the Manhattan Project of psychoactive stimulants. And it's just like, yes. Whatever the government's been cooking up to keep this guy functioning, he's going to be hepped up on goofballs.
Sure, right.
Biden's seeming low bar for success has been created in part.
We know that.
By the 78-year-old Trump and his Republican allies, who have relentlessly mocked the Democratic president for apparent stumbles connected to his age for years. Trump's allies have questioned whether Biden can even stay awake and stand up for the entire 90 minutes. Democrats are hopeful that Biden can bring the same energy he did in the State of the Union address earlier in the year. But a face-off on live television against an opponent who delights in verbal combat is very different from a scripted speech before Congress. Biden's team is aware that he cannot afford to have a bad night with the nation watching. This is why they're going to be cutting off Trump's mic.
Yep.
Those are the rules. They're going to cut his mic off. How much do you want to bet they won't do the same thing to Joe Biden?
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, they're going to have tactics to help aid their establishment candidate. And it's a rigged game. It's a rigged debate already. Before we know this going in, that's another reason why we're watching. We're going to be watching to see, can Trump fight through the rigged game? Can he fight through the rigged debate?
This whole thing is designed to be rigged against Trump. CNN, you know, maybe this. Maybe I don't think CNN will be fair, but maybe this. With CNN's ratings in absolute gutter, you see people like Chris Cuomo desperately trying to redeem themselves in external space outside of CNN, going on Patrick Bet-Dave and things like that, talking with Dave Rubin. CNN may be so.
Okay, yeah. So about that point, these are people that have been burned by the establishment, right? And they're just coming out of it going, either they're burned by it or they're gonna try to redeem themselves or something by infiltrating, but probably most likely just burnt, because they'll use you up and spit you out. It makes you and then they realize, hey, how useless and how how not in you are, right? You've been cast out. Your usefulness has been used up and you're no good to us. So go ahead, go to the other side. They don't care. They're like, yeah, get the fuck out of here. Yeah, I know, right, Elephant? I know, but they still want to put it up in this prominent space, like it's a popular show. And I'm sure you heard Tim going over the numbers. The numbers are awful.
Desperate. They may be thinking, if we give Trump a fair shot at this, we might actually get some audience back. And it's too bad, because they could. But now with this Cassie Hunt thing, she should have let Carolyn Levitt say that Tapper called Trump Hitler, and then she could have been like, well, I guess people have their opinions. We'll see if Jake can do a fair job. We'll press him to try. That's the appropriate response. No one's falling.
Instead that she came across looking guilty, and so did CNN
for this. And here's the thing: they don't want their audience to see someone point out that they will not do a good job with this debate, that they have been biased, and that there's reason to suspect this will be illegitimate.
Yep.
And I think we can all agree that is very likely. That is very likely going to be the case, that CNN will not be fair. But the next big question, outside of whether or not Joe Biden's brain works, is, can Trump be boring? They say, having already locked up his base, Trump has an opportunity with persuadable swing voters and moderates who fueled Biden's victory 4 years ago and now express concerns about both candidates. But to win over the so-called double haters, Trump cannot simply lean into the red meat talking points, personal insults and conspiracy theories that typically dominate his public appearances. Instead of
you hear that? Do you guys hear that? How they blended that in? What have you ever heard? I mean, I guess when they're talking about Trump's conspiracy theories, they're talking about the election and the trials and some things like that. But they that word, right, has been so run through the mud that they people think about that. They think he's out there. If someone just reading this and doesn't actually watch any Trump rallies, right? They would think he's out there talking about chemtrails or fucking flat earth or the freaking moon landing hoax or something, right? They're going to think that because the word's been ingrained. It's the word has an archetype behind it. And that's what we're going to be going over again this week, this Wednesday night on Unveiling Reality. We'll be talking about the impact of the conspiracy grift, the cheap fake mentality of the new media and how we have to get away from that. And I'll be showing you real life examples from First Veil programming on how they portray the conspiracy theorists and why these things are these grifts that are going on in our new media and these shortcuts to clicks and views are hurting us. So I'll be wrapping that into a big presentation for that.
Or talk of retribution or lies about the U.S. election system, he'll need to offer an optimistic vision for the future and a clear contrast with Biden on traditional kitchen table issues like healthcare and education. He was widely panned for his outbursts in the first 2020 debate with Biden, badgering the then Democratic nominee and repeatedly interrupting him. Their second debate took a milder tone and focused on the sharply different governing visions. In short, Trump needs to be somewhat boring on Thursday night. Can he stay disciplined? Some allies are hopeful. History may suggest otherwise. Navigating the criminal records. Oh boy. Trump's extraordinary legal baggage creates opportunity and risk for both candidates on stage. Biden's campaign has signaled an increasing willingness to lean into Trump's criminal record in recent days. But aside from a few jabs, Biden himself has largely distanced himself from Trump's prosecutions to avoid the appearance of political interference. Trump, who has been alleging for years without evidence that Biden is responsible for prosecuting him, won't make it easy for the president to toe that line. Recent polling shows that about half of U.S. adults approve of Trump's New York conviction. And if voters don't think the specific convictions are troublesome, Trump's attempt to conceal an alleged affair with a porn actress is hardly bumper sticker material. Meanwhile, Biden is aware that Trump may go after his son, Hunter, and the then president, as the then president did on debate stage 4 years ago. Hunter Biden was recently convicted on 3 felony charges.
What she was right about.
Related to the purchase of a gun, while allegedly being addicted to drugs. Trump has also raised questions about Hunter Biden's foreign business dealings when his father was vice president. Muted mics and moderators. Oh boy.
Not to mention sniff, sniff, right? They never want to bring that up. That's the most repulsive thing he does. A lot of people would be like, well, I don't understand the whole, like, you know, Ukraine thing. I don't understand the whole, you know, it's his kid, so who cares, right? But no one's talking about Ashley and her diary. No one's talking about all the kid sniffing and kid grabbing this guy does. That's the most repulsive thing he does. That's what you want to harp on. You don't want to harp on the fact that he has these weird moments out in public. We all know he's a disgrace. We all know it. It doesn't do us any good. We want to harp on the things that are completely and utterly repulsive to anybody, any good person, any sane person, right? Because I've seen the power of doing that. I've literally turned somebody from a Trump hater into someone who was down at I didn't tell him to do this. But it was so impactful that he ended up down at the rally on J6 that I had no idea that he turned around that fast. But when he saw that, he couldn't unsee it. It changed him. I'm telling you that it's always been the strategy. It's the best strategy out there. You play it over and over again, and just to demonstrate it for you guys. This Thursday night, watch the trailer, watch the intro. You'll see what I'm talking about. Watch what I do. I'm gonna literally go make it and show you guys. I know you guys probably know, but I'm gonna bring it to life, right? I'm gonna put my words into action, bring it to life, and I will make an intro, and I will make a trailer for Rumble that will demonstrate what I'm talking about, and how when you play this thing over and over again, it really will make the point for us.
As is often the case, the moderators and the ground rules will shape the debate's outcome, blah, blah, blah. We get it. Biden and Trump will debate at a CNN studio in Atlanta with no audience. There will be no opening statements. Each candidate's microphone will be muted, except when it's his turn to speak. It's not even a debate.
It's not even a debate.
This is why Cast IRL does not do video conferencing. Because you do video conferencing, it's hard to rebut and have a hard conversation. So, you know, if someone's talking and they say, like, you want other people to be able to interrupt. And a lot of people are like, don't interrupt, don't. This is the entire point. Conversations don't work very well when it's a 2-second delay over a Skype or a Zoom, and someone says, here's my opinion, with a pause, and the person says, okay, well, now here's my opinion. Then there's a pause. It's like, dude, what you want is for someone to say something, they make their point, and then someone goes, yeah, but hold on, and someone else jumps in. Like that, I know it might sound like a cacophony sometimes, but that actually is the raw of the conversation that you want to see. It's true. That's why a lot of people don't like the you know, you can do Zoom and Skype, but it's hard because there's that slight delay. IRL is always better in real life. With them cutting off the mics, I don't see it. I don't see it being as entertaining or as like an actual debate. I just don't see it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
We'll see, we'll see.
For anything to watch this, how badly this comes across. I mean, the fact that it comes across badly and doesn't feel like a debate will probably be the main talking point.
Rep. Ronnie Jackson, echoing Trump, cast doubt on Biden's upcoming debate performance. Jackson, Republican from Texas, who was Trump's White House physician until 2018, baselessly suggested that Biden might use performance-enhancing drugs.
You know, and there we go. Again, it's all about his condition and whether he can even run for president, right? Or whether he should even be, and then that's poor strategy. I mean, unless you guys want to have him replaced by a more viable candidate and make it even harder on yourselves in November, I don't know why. It's like, just don't say it. Just, well, we all know, but we want the worst candidate on their side running, not a better candidate than what they have already. And so even suggesting, okay, so if he does a good job, we're going to blame it on if he manages to get through it, let me put it this way. He's not going to do a good job because he's a freaking liar, right? He's corrupt. There's no, once you are corrupt, there's no levels of it, right? Corrupt is corrupt. Evil is evil, right? So they're going to say, well, you know, the only reason he got through it is because of performance enhancing drugs and blah, blah, blah. Right. And then that's going to look like, okay, well, no, see, he gets up there and does it. And then everybody goes and says something else instead of focusing on all the truth that's out there about who he is, what he's done, and why he's just a bad person in general, why he's just a corrupt individual in general, his history, you know, the things he's done in his personal life, the things that you see him do on camera to children. That's all you need. And I don't understand, why am I the only one sitting here able to see that? Am I wrong? It makes me, it kind of like you can gaslight yourself a little bit. Like, well, this makes so much sense, but why is anybody else saying it? Are they that caught up in things that they don't see it? These are the kind of questions I would ask if I was on a Timcast IRL or on with Viva or on with anybody with a big channel that wants to talk about some real shit. Thanks, Ellie. You know, but it feels like I'm gaslighting. Like, why am I the only one talking about this? Why am I the only one that sees strategy in this stuff? I mean, granted, I'm not everywhere at once, right? So maybe there's somebody out there right now saying the same shit that I am, and I hope there is. I hope to God there is, and hopefully we meet one day. But it gets to be a little maddening because I can only talk as loud as I can talk here. You know, I can't. You know, I sent a super chat to Tim, and one, I'd be lucky if he reads it. Two, you know, what would he? How could he respond to that? I'm just some dude in the crowd, right? So, you know, he doesn't know who I am. But anyways, that's what I'm talking about. How do I get into the bigger conversations? And you know, I don't have to be in them as long as someone will take this point and talk about it. Like, it could be a Viva Fry who gets on these shows. Just by talking to him, I get the right ideas out there to him. He, you know, he sees the same thing I do, maybe, and with his articulate ability, his verbal skills, and his reach and his notoriety, he can perhaps do some good with that information. So maybe it's just a matter of just getting one step up the ladder to then have the person on that step take it further. I don't know. We'll keep trying. We'll keep trying. Let's finish.
I love NBC because they're so full of it baselessly. I'm let that one.
Right, there you go. Basically, yeah, they're just already trying to shut down this narrative. That's what they're doing. They're preemptively shutting down this narrative that when he does make it through the debate or the show, let's put up, it's a show, right? When he does make it through it, right? He doesn't fumble, and they're going to make sure that you don't see him try to make his way off stage, and they're probably going to do all that stuff, right? When he does make it through, and then people come back out and say he must have been using something to get through it, which of course he did, but who, you know, doesn't matter, especially when they're shoveling the same type of medications out to children every day, telling them they need it in order to be normal, right? It doesn't carry a lot of weight because most of the people that are going to hear this maybe are already on something themselves, or maybe they are already giving it to their children, so they're not going to care. Why would they care? We don't think strategically, and we have no. I mean, we don't want a top-down system. We want immersion. We want to have spontaneous order, but we have to have conversations in order to get to that point, right? And when we don't have a forum where people can actually talk about strategy, how we conduct ourselves, right? What our you know, it's that they have that. So, but for some reason, you could see we'll all fall in line behind a narrative, even if we don't discuss it first. So the tendency to do that is still out there. So why not have better narratives? Why not have better talking points? Why not actually just stick to the truth and not worry about whether he's taking, you know, something before the debates and before his speeches or not? Who cares? It's his own health, right? It's his own. He does it at his own peril. So who cares, right? What we care about is beating the establishment. Period. End of story. Yeah, I know. How do you get shadow banned? How did you get shadow banned? I mean, I barely bring it up, but it needs to be brought up a lot. But you know what? There's this guy. I don't see him on my X thread anymore. X news stream, whatever. Your what do they call it? What do they call it? Home. Home. that every day was like, his name was Friedman, right? I think I showed him on here one time. I'm going to post this J6 video every day until the election. I don't see that anymore. You know why? Because I started going into his comments and I grabbed that a screenshot of the diary page and said, I'm going to post this every day in your comments until the election. And I believe I was blocked after that, after a lot of pushback, after a lot of different techniques to see if I could get this dude's attention, see if I could get them to block me. Well, honestly, is what I was trying to do. To see how, you know, if they would stand by what they would say, if they would debate me on it, if they would do anything except for just try to push out their optics, right? And it took that. It took that to make him disappear, right? After all the other things I said, after all the other evidence I put out there, after everything else, it was that made him disappear. How about that? Because that was the undeniable truth. And it made him look really bad. Talk about Ukraine, talk about Hunter Biden, talk about anything else. He couldn't stand that one. Couldn't stand that one.
On stew for a minute. Come on. Even Democrats know this dude's not functioning that well. Okay, let's not play these games, right? Biden likely will be using performance-enhancing drugs.
Like I said, we're not playing games. They're actually using strategy. They're blowing up this predictable response. They're blowing it up before it has a chance to get legs. Learn something from it.
Come on. Well, let's take a look. Let's take a look. There's still this question. This is from Trib Live. SE Cup says Biden replacement theory factor fever dream. This is from a few days ago, it's from Friday, and she mentions.
Here we go. Well, are they talking about him sniffing kids? Are they talking about the diary? Are they talking about Ukraine? The quid pro quo? Are they talking about the witch hunt? Are they talking about 2020? Are they talking about any of that? Nope. They're talking about this because we've enabled it.
Democrats are still stuck in denial and bargaining. They're offering up speculative, baseless, and in some cases, delusional hypotheticals to soothe their anxious minds. Talk of replacing Biden with someone like Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer or California Governor Gavin Newsom started way back in 2022. I don't know what happens.
Right? I was like, why are we trying to convince them to do that?
Don't know that they replaced Joe Biden, but a lot of people think this is it. This is the moment that they're going to have to. It's make or break. If Biden can't get the job done on stage, he's done. He will be replaced.
Bullshit. And here you go, guys. I've been saying it the entire time, right? And I'm willing to be wrong. But Tim's been pushing this shit out. Other people have been pushing this shit out. Roger Stone, Alex Jones, who's the other guy? Owen Schroyer, Penny Johnson, of course, redacted. I mean, just like a bunch of new media outlets, right? They're supposed to be on the up and up. I've been pushing this out and pushing it out. Replace them. We're going to replace them because it makes sense to them. That's it. Because it makes sense to them. They say, "Oh, okay, feeble old guy, then you must replace them." That's all. That's as far as their brain is working on this. They're not looking at this from a strategic point of view. Anti-establishment has to become more strategic. We have to think strategically, and a lot of people that are part of it don't think strategically. They act just like the other side, and it sucks. But yeah, and so here's what we're talking about. Not the shit that matters, but this.
Interestingly, we've got this. The latest polls. RCP.
If they replace him, we're in trouble. And I hope they never hear my broadcast to understand that. And nobody ever goes, you know what? He's right.
Still has Trump up 0.9. So he's improved by 0.1. And then we have this from 538 actually showing Biden taking the lead with.
Okay. So what's changing here? If this is true, let's say this poll's true. I mean, it had Trump up for all this time. What's changing? What is changing? What are they doing to change this? Right? Oh, don't stop picking on the poor old guy. He's doing fine, you know? And oh, look at this. They faked this whole thing. They're trying to say that he crapped his pants when he didn't. Right? There's a bunch of liars. They're just pushing this out over and over and over again. And then they're taking that and they're mixing you in with the flat earthers. They're mixing you in with the chemtrailers. They're mixing you in with all the abyss dwellers, right? The conspiracy people who've been conspiracy grifted into believing their lying eyes. And it's like, so, you know, when I see something like this, there's no way this mummy should be even close to Trump's numbers. Not with what we've seen over the last a year or two or so on since he's been running for president again. I mean, even when he wasn't, there's no way, unless they're fudging the numbers, which they could be, that this should be even just anything about this should be true, right? His numbers went up when he was convicted of and during the witch hunt of these ridiculous BS, right? His numbers went up every time they attacked him. When they invaded Mar-a-Lago, when they did all the things, his numbers go up, they go up, they go up. So why suddenly are people starting to sympathize with Joe Biden? Man, they'll let us do this all day long. If I was on the other side and I was like, I saw this going on, I'd be like, man, let's just play this up. We'll get more sympathy for that old mummy than we ever thought possible, because these people are just opening the door for it. They're gonna help us, and we're gonna help them. I actually thought I wanted to bring. You want a conspiracy theory? You want a staged event? How about they tell Biden to stand there and do dumb shit like this, so that people like him and other people will jump on it for the clicks and the views. Oh, look at, there he goes doing it again. You can get 5-6 videos an hour coming out from different places talking about the same damn thing. Look at, there he does it again. Honestly, I would do that. I mean, I would say, like, look, just stand there with your hands to your side and look like you're lost. Well, I don't have to look away. No. Just do that, because what's going to happen is all the people on the right are going to take that and run with it, and then you're going to come out there looking like, in your speech looking great, and they're going to they're going to be holding their what's in their hands. I mean, what they're not talking about is the real shit, the bad shit you've done, the real bad shit that you are, the real bad parts of who you are. They're not talking about that. They're talking about, oh, poor old guy. And everybody gets old. Everybody starts to fall apart at some point. We don't last forever, and people can empathize with that. So what do you think? Oh, look at the mean Trump supporters, those conspiracy theorists, look what they're doing. They're making fun of they're making fun of the president. Right? Let's finish this up.
0.3 up. So hard to know for sure. I don't know that I trust 538. There's some polls they don't use that RCP does. But in their simulation of what we can expect to happen, who is favored to win the 2024 presidential election? Well, it goes back and forth. But right now, they're saying there's one tie. There's 3 instances. 3 instances where there's a tie. Biden wins 50. Trump wins 49. I don't know if you can trust 538, but we will see.
Yeah.
In the meantime, if this is how CNN approaches this, that they're going to be shutting off microphones because they don't want people to hear the truth, that their network has accused Trump of being, at the very least, of being a modern Hitler, we will see. We will see. How many of you are actually confident? I wonder. All right, we'll see. Next segment's coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.
All right, cool. We're done with that. Okay, yeah. Let me stop this. All right. Yeah, Ellie, exactly. That there we go. People could understand this, right? Putting that question in their mind is more powerful than talking about whether or not he crapped his pants. Honestly. I mean, it's just poor strategy. I don't understand why people that are doing so well in this new media game, why people are doing so well and it can't not see this right in front of their face, and that they don't understand that the responsibility they have to do better than what we face, what we fight. I don't get it. I guess, I mean, maybe it's like, maybe the universe, God wants to teach me a lesson, and by making me very on the same level as these guys, and to see if I can actually react differently. Go ahead and try me. Try giving me 1 million subscribers and followers. Try, making me have a tremendous income so I can do this full time. Just try me, and we'll see if you're right. Will I fall into the same trap? I guess we better find out. Oh man, let's see. They are counting numbers differently. In addition to polling 2-3 times as many Democrat voters. Yeah, they have these tactics, don't they, Wolfram? They always do this bullshit. It's very telling that he had his father's list in his phone as Peter. Right? I know. He knows. Grad level stats taught me all the stats are bullshit. Yep. 60% of statistics are made up. If a tie, does it go to the Senate? I don't know. There won't be a tie. What is lied and raised to sex that's corrupt, pathological liar, warmonger, PETA, and an addict, a senile, evil incarnate. Yeah, but people don't give people anything they're going to empathize with when it comes to like I've always said. You remember, like in the beginning, they're like, oh, you know, I kind of feel sorry for him when he started doing all this stuff. Like he has you get no empathy for people who do the things he does. Who cares? I want to see him completely disintegrate in front of everybody in the most embarrassing, worst way ever, because that's barely payback for the things that he's done. Barely. Who they collect the information from? Where did they collect it? How, when, why? Yeah, exactly. Polls are polls. And polls said he was going to win last time. What did they do? They took those, you know, those polls and they made them all not come across right. We're getting ready, guys. By the way, we're getting ready to jump over to Rumble to start our book tonight, reading chapters 2 and 3. This is 2 and 3. This is the kickoff show, as it says at the bottom of the screen there for anybody watching over on Rumble and X. We are going to start doing our reading here soon. Just taking a few more comments, but you guys, I pinned the links in the chat and they are in the description to follow us over to Rumble and X free speech platforms so we can read this great book by Vivek Ramaswamy. You're going to be doing 2 chapters and I have a brief little after show for you, after read for you, and then that'll be the show for tonight. But let's get that going. Let's see. Looks like we're having good conversations here. Remember that 2016 poll and Hillary winning in a blue landslide easily. Yep. That was, again, they're just trying to convince people, oh, don't even bother, right? Because it's already a done deal. There's no way that the evil, corrupt establishment candidate is going to lose. Yet she did, embarrassingly. So you could skew statistics to lean towards what you wanted to just by collecting information in specific ways. Yes, I was convinced Hillary was going to win. I didn't pay any attention to the election that whole day. Not me. I had a good feeling about it. I was like, let's go, Brandon, right? Don't forget that. All right, cool. We've made it through. Let's do this thing, guys. We're going to go to Rumble now. This is the conclusion of the kickoff show. Thank you for being here. I meant to say at the beginning of the show. I need to remember to say that on Mondays, that if you are just here for the reading, you can always skip ahead. When you see the book show up on the screen, then we're probably reading it, right? After the Rumble exit, what you're going to do here right now. All right. So let's do that thing. Thank you guys so much for being here at the kickoff show on YouTube. If you're not going to follow us over to Rumble and X for the reading, remember I'll be back Wednesday night at 8 p.m. for Unveiling Reality. We will be doing a special about how the establishment archetypes their enemies. Basically, a deep dive into how conspiracy grifting and dancing around the truth by our side has hurt us, and we're going to show exactly how they portray us to all the people that are still trapped in the first veil, trapped inside the establishment narrative, happy-go-lucky, thinking absolutely everything is great. We're going to show you how they demonize you, top to bottom. All right, that's Wednesday night. But guys, we're out of here. I'll see you over on Rumble and X, YouTube. We're done for now. The kickoff show has concluded. It's time to get it on.
Man, everyone's tensed up for a Rumble.